So far in this section, we've covered the very fundamentals of UI rendering with React. There's still one more thing we have to do, and that is, instead of having all of these components in a single file, we're going to split them up into different files and export them all back into index.js, where they are still going to be rendered, but our code will just be better organized. So we're going to create a new folder component inside of source. Make sure any code you write is always inside of source. So create your folder, components, and inside of our folder, we're going to add 3 files. One file is going to be called list.js, another file, title.js, and one more, main.js. So we've created one file for each component, list, title, and main. And inside of each file, we're going to import React from React, as well as the component property. Make sure to copy and paste it into every single file. And inside of list.js, we will copy the list component. So back to index.js, copy and paste that. Take it off from here, paste. Inside of title.js, we'll copy the title component. So take that out from here, put that into title. And inside of main.js, you guessed it, we'll copy the main component. That's rendering all of our subcomponents. Alright, now inside of the main components, obviously these instances that we're trying to access, they're undefined. We need to export our list and title class definition so that we can import and access them inside of main.js and create instances of them inside of our main components so that we can render them. To export our list and title components, for the list component, let's start with that. Simply export default, and we want to export the list component, like so. And for the title, do the exact same thing, write export default, and we want to export the title component. I can now import the contents of both of these files, which would simply be the components themselves. So import list from /list. So what we're saying is that inside of the components folder, go to the list file and grab the contents of whatever is being exported. In this case, our list components, and we're going to access it through this variable right here. Do the exact same thing for the title. Import title from /title. Once again, inside the folder, grab the exported contents of this file, which is simply the title components. And these are not undefined anymore. We're actually creating instances of these component class definitions. We're returning 2 instances of our list component and 1 instance of our title. That's what we want to render onto our screen. How do we render it? Well, same as before. We need to render it through the DOM, right here in index.js. So we need to export the main component from main.js. So export default, get rid of that, export default main, and now we can import the main component inside of index.js. Import main from /. We're going to have to go to the components folder /main.js to import this exported component and access it through this variable. And through this variable, we're rendering an instance of our main component, which contains these 3 instances of our subcomponents. So this is the exact same code as what we had a few minutes ago, except that now it's a bit more organized. If we go back to our browser, localhost 3000, I seem to have stopped my server at one point, so I'm just going to go back to my projects directory /photowall npm start. and everything works as usual. And that is all for this section. In the next section, we'll look at state management and start building up our photo wall application.